Joining us now, longtime coach of the New Orleans Saints, Super Bowl champion from 44 in Miami. He is Sean Payton. Coach, welcome back. How are you?
Good, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, great to see you as always. So what do you do this time of year? You know, the scouting stuff for the draft hasn't really heated up yet. Free agency still 6 weeks away. What do you do right now?
Exactly right now. So the first week the season's over with, our schedule is writing up our players. The position coaches will write reports on our roster. That begins the first week when the season's over. The next week is always off. And so this past week, guys were away. Everyone's back in. Today's Wednesday. Monday, we begin a reading process that I learned from Bill, where each player that we've written up, the whole depth chart is there in front of us. That's practice squad. Everybody that's in the building is a player. We'll jump positions and we'll read the magnet. Medically, we'll read it. Weight room, we'll read it. The position coach, the coordinators, the scouts. And then there are certain groupings we put players in that are fairly complex, but they represent who we think the player is right now. And so I think that evaluation is every bit as important as the free agent evaluation or, of course, the draft evaluation. And so that's what we're in the middle of. This is, call it the second week of Saint evaluations. And then on top of that, I'm interviewing a few more coaches. I've got a couple positions that we're looking to fill. That kind of comes with the territory when you're having success right after the season. Dan Campbell, of course, is the head coach at Detroit. Aaron Glenn has a chance to go be the defensive coordinator there. I'm thrilled for both of those guys. And then Joe Lombardi left, and he's now the offensive coordinator with the LA Chargers. So that's all good. I remember back a few years ago when Mr. Benson was alive, he came to see me and he said, "Coach, you got a lot of these coaches that are interviewing." And I said, "Mr. Benson," I said, "that's a good thing." I said, "We should only worry if no one's interviewing. That's when we got to be more concerned." And so that's what we're doing now. In-house Saints evaluations, interviews, and then that'll bleed into free agency, the league year. Obviously, the combine's not going to take place, but that's our schedule.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of self-scouting thyself. I know you got a lot of work in front of you, and I got to ask you at least the big question about your team and your roster, the quarterback position, just all of it, and where does it go from here? Brees, Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston, you certainly got some good options.
Yeah, look, I think within the next week and a half, we'll get a little bit more information relative to Drew. I know he spent a lot of time last year. The end of these seasons, they're unique to any other sport. I think the closest resemblance would be like March Madness, where you're playing, here's your schedule, you're playing, here's your schedule. Boom, there's finality if you lose. And then within a day, you're having to, exit physicals and you're clearing out lockers. So I think we'll know fairly soon relative to Drew's decision. Meanwhile, the exposure we've had, first with Taysom in-house, we've had him, but he had a chance to play more in that role this year. And I thought he had a fantastic season, not just when he was in that role, but he's one of our better football players, period. He's explosive. There's a physicality that he brings when he's in the lineup, either at quarterback or running back or in a receiving mode. And then our exposure to Jameis was fantastic. And I know he's a free agent, but he's someone that I think we're really excited to work with. Now that means we've got work to do still. And I think he feels the same way. So I feel pretty good about that. Those two guys for sure. And we'll wait on Drew's announcement, but of course, it's a position you're always in the business of and you're always looking at. But I think the exposure we had a chance to get with Jameis was important.
What was it that you saw from Jameis Winston, Coach, that made you think this is a guy who can compete
to be a starting quarterback in my offense?
Yeah, everything from his leadership, his arm strength, his film in Tampa. His last season, obviously, he had a ton of turnovers, but there are so many things that I think he does well. Oftentimes coaches can be guilty of, or here's what he doesn't do well, and we harp on those things. Our job will be to really highlight and try to do the things that our players do extremely well. And I think it's amazing how someone can be in your division and you might think you know the player to some degree, and obviously you don't have the same intimate knowledge relative to personality, learning. And then when he's in your building, maybe how different a guy is. And he was a fantastic leader for our team, very supportive and loyal in that room. I think close with the quarterbacks, and coming in just his first year, I think he endeared himself to his teammates. He's a tremendous worker, and he's got a ton of talent. So, he made a great impression on us.
All right. Well, I know you've said it. You're in the quarterback, business always. You're Mr. Quarterback whisperer as far as that's concerned. You're in the quarterback business. You study them. You know more than anybody maybe in football about it. You got to play Patrick Mahomes this year for the first time in, his short career. Just tell us what it was like watching film, studying him, and preparing to get ready to play him.
Yeah, look, he's a player that we spent a ton of time on when he was coming out.
Right.
We flew down to Lubbock and brought, a group of us on offense. We spent basically the whole day in meetings with him, on the field with him. He's got all those things that you're looking for. He processes information extremely fast. I think this year with COVID, if you really tried to go online or find audio of him at the line of scrimmage, it really gives you an idea of what he's doing protection-wise, how quickly he's processing the information. It's hard to do. And then when you move some people around, where the tight end, Kelsey, will kind of come across the formation, or they'll take a receiver and move them one side to the other, and there's an adjustment defensively, you're going to hear him talking. He's mixing up the snap count like a 20-year veteran. And then his arm talent. The challenge with him is not just the escapability out of the pocket, but he can escape back and out. And what I mean by that is, he can distance himself from the rush and still make a throw that maybe is a 14-yard gain, but he might have thrown it, 21 yards. And so obviously he can extend outside the pocket, but it's those throws where he knows he's one short with protection. He'll flush away from it the right way.
Right.
And he made a throw against us in the back of the end zone.
So, it's insane.
Nicole Hardman, holy cow. And look, going as a right-hander, and this, going to the right is one thing, but when you're forced to go left, you've got to actually turn your whole body to get in a position to throw this football, and he's able to do that effortlessly. So look, he's a fantastic player at such a young age. I mean, I'm glad he's in the AFC.
Hey, Coach, Zebra Technology is always keeping fans, coaches, players, everyone on the cutting edge. What's the latest with Zebra? Yeah,
look, they're the barcode company that we're all used to in the stores, but we're getting all the next gen stuff that we get. This game. Hey, look, we're going to be able to see who the fastest receiver is all week. We've heard about the two receivers that are track players from Tampa and Kansas City, and who's going to travel the fastest. Well, that next gen statistic is generated from the Zebra system. They partnered with the NFL. They're partners with the New Orleans Saints and many of the other clubs. Look, player health and safety, how long we're on practice fields, who's on the field, what type of practice are they having based on all the metrics. But just as importantly, I think it's gonna move to the officiating, and it's gonna help us with exactness as where a ball goes out of bounds.
Right.
Think about if we know the ball touches the plane of the end zone, we're going to see the same shot clock light we see in NBA scoreboards. And then we're going to look at where the knee is, and all those things are going to be a little cleaner. But the number one thing that is, I think, the biggest challenge for the officials is when the ball's punted 40 yards in the air, 10 yards out of bounds, and then there's this process where the back official begins walking up the sideline.
Yeah.
And the official who was right behind the punter then says, right there.
Right.
And I think that I know we can measure that with currently what's in place. The chips are in every ball. We get spin rates, we get distance, we can measure how the ball's coming off the punter's foot. And so look, as the game continues to be popular and the coverage of the game and the HD and the replay, that all lends itself to being a little bit more tighter relative to exactness, and I think that's coming.
Great, Coach. Great stuff as always. We look forward to talking to you soon. All the best this offseason.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on.
You the man, Coach.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.